Want to talk about it, Eagles fans? I know, we all do. Alongside Everett Terry and, of course, the legend Seth Joyner, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Welcome into Hit 'em High, presented by Kingsmark Cabinets. We're coming to you live from Parks Casino. And, of course, be sure to share the episode. You guys are doing such a great job at it. We're raising a lot of money for some good charities. This month, we're donating for every share to Big Brothers Big Sisters. And, of course, guys, the big story is the Eagles lost to the Vikings yesterday, in which was, frankly, disappointing. We talked last week about the keys to the game being the Eagles converting big plays. Seth, it was about the Eagles not being able to stop big plays yesterday.
Well, defensively, they're a mess right now. They're not getting any pressure up front. You're playing with 4th, 5th, and 6th cornerbacks, guys who obviously don't have any confidence. And confidence in the NFL, the confidence for any professional sport is really, the key to your success. If you don't believe that you can be successful at doing something, then you're 99% sure that you won't. Rasul Douglas had a tough day, again proving that he's not a cornerback, but he's a safety.
Yes.
Sidney Jones is continuing to have issues. Last week, we saw Doug, call Sidney Jones out at the end of the week, saying, guys got to learn how to play with pain. And I was kind of shocked to see it, because in today's NFL, coaches don't do that anymore. If a guy can go, he can go. If he can't, they just leave it to the player and the training staff to make that decision. But Doug Peterson said, hey, Sidney's got to learn how to, muscle up. He's got to learn how to, play through some injuries, play through pain. And I was shocked by that. And Sidney looked aggressive the first couple of balls that went his way, and then all of a sudden, like that, he just lost his confidence, and you could see it just being sucked out of him in the moment. And it was really interesting listening to what Sidney had to say. He said, it's been a battle with my body ever since he's had the injury and he's gotten drafted. But the point is, when I look at Sidney, I don't see a guy whose body's changing. I don't see him with his pro body. I see a guy who looks like he did, when he left college, and that's problematic. When you look at players 1, 2, 3 years in the league, if they don't already have it when they get to the league nowadays, they transform their body. So if you're struggling with your body, hey, get in the weight room, build your body up, get more flexible, more durable, so that you can be the player that you expect to be and that the Philadelphia Eagles thought they were drafting when they drafted you. And then, lastly, and I'm going to touch on some of that on the whiteboard today, when I look at the safety play yesterday, terrible. It's one thing when you have young guys making mistakes, but when you have veterans like Malcolm Jenkins and veterans like, Rodney McLeod making mistakes, compounding what the young guys are doing, that's hard to overcome. It's hard to overcome. And then I'm sure as we go on, we'll get into it even more, on the offensive side of the ball. I can't exonerate Carson Wentz. People don't like to talk about the mistakes that the Golden Boy makes, but I'm not immune to that. I call the game the way I see it. And for your franchise quarterback, the guy that you're paying $32 million a year, he has to play better football. He has to make better decisions, and he has to put the team in the proper plays at the proper points in time in the game.
And there was a key third down conversion that they failed on with that screen pass that Doug Peterson took blame for it, which nice of a head coach to do, right? He said he shouldn't have called that play. They called it before. Obviously, the Vikings adjusted and made a good defensive play. But you're Carson Wentz. You are a veteran now in this league. You have to recognize certain coverages pre-snap and check out of that play. It's nice of Doug Peterson to protect his quarterback, but we're not going to sit here and protect Carson Wentz.
Real quick, Everett. Listen, when he lined up in that play, I was sitting there watching it on TV, and I said, Carson, you got a 5-man box. It's 3rd and 3. You got Howard behind you, okay? You've already run that bubble screen twice already, and I see it. If I see it, you think Michael Kendricks didn't see it? Yeah. I mean, you got to check to a run. Now, Doug's going to take the heat. Of course he is, because that's his play call. But don't tell me, kill, that he doesn't have the ability to make the check at the line of scrimmage. And he's got to be able to see that and make the requisite check and put the team, even if they run and they only get 2 yards, at least they're in 4th and 1 and they got an opportunity to convert. Now you throw it out there, you lose 2 yards, now all of a sudden it's 4th and 5 and you don't have any other choice but to punt.
So 2 things. First things first, to your point about the DB play. Probably the first time in a year I've never seen people clamoring for Jalen Mills to get back on the field as fast as they've been watching these corners get torched. And remember, last year he was double move Mills. He got beat by the double move consistently. People were ripping him. But when you look at how they've got Rasul Douglas clearly playing out of position consistently, it's not because they want to play him. They know he's a safety. You know he's a safety. We know he's a safety. But who else are you going to put out there? LeBlanc is hurt. Sidney Jones is playing terrible. You got Darby. Who knows what's going on with him and Mills, who's been out a year. This is why a couple weeks ago when I argued, I don't care what the Jaguars wanted. You take everybody but Wentz and Fletcher Cox. You can have them. Give me Jalen Ramsey, because a shutdown corner eliminates one of the problems on defense. Number 2, the difference between good quarterbacks and great quarterbacks is adjustments, being able to read plays at the line, okay? Most Eagles fans won't want to hear this, but when you watch a game that Tony Romo does color broadcasting for, you hear him literally talking about the play before the play.
He's quarterbacking.
He's telling you, and he's in a booth. So, and you know what made Tony Romo as good as he was is because if he could do that from a booth, he's on the field, he's making the adjustments in the reads. That goes to show, you look at the great ones, Russell Wilson, you look at the great ones, even Mahomes knows how to get out of plays. If you see the play isn't there, you adjust. Now, how much of that is coaching? Are they coaching up Carson to know how to kill plays and make adjustments? Remember, we ripped McNabb for never knowing when to properly audible, for holding on to the ball too long. All the same things you're hearing about problems with Wentz. But the difference between good and great is being able to make those adjustments at the line. Like you said, everybody with 2 eyes sees, here comes that bubble screen. We see it. You got a guy who falls forward for 3 yards every time he touches the football, and you don't give him the ball. We argue, run the ball with Jordan Howard, run the ball with Jordan Howard. They did it 2 weeks ago, looked great, and then they slowly started getting back to, we're not going to give him the ball as much, and I don't know why. If you look at the teams that are winning in the NFL right now, the 49ers, the Colts, what are they doing great? Running the ball, playing defense.
I can tell you why. You know, when the game started off, I think the intent was there. The only thing that ticked me off, the first offensive series, the first play of the game, they hand the ball to Jordan Howard. He rips off 5 yards. Okay. The next play, they take him out and put Miles Sanders in the game. Okay. Not only do they take him out and put Miles Sanders in the game, okay, because my whole thing is, if Doug is saying that Jordan is going to get more playing time, more looks, okay, so if you're trying to establish the running game and you got 5, why wouldn't you come back and run it the next play? Okay, with that guy. So in comes Miles Sanders, okay. They run a play that's a Jordan Howard type of play.
Yes.
Yep.
Miles Sanders gets stuck for 1 yard.
Now you're 3rd and long.
Now you got 3rd down. Then they come back. Jordan Howard comes back in the game, and they run a stretch/cutback play that's a Miles Sanders play for Jordan Howard, and he gets dropped in the backfield.
I don't
I'm
understand
like,
it.
what are y'all thinking about, man?
I don't understand it. Up the gut runs for Jordan Howard in between the tackles. Sanders is sweeps to the outside. Everybody knows it. So when you're trying to outthink the defense, you're setting yourself up for failure. There was no reason not to go with what works.
And I knew that once we went down by 2 touchdowns, I said to myself, the first 15, because we went 3 and out. I said the first 15 and the game plan is out the window.
Yes.
It's out the window. We're going, and there was a point where Carson passed the ball like 9 consecutive plays in a row. This
is a bad trend, though, okay? And guys, I want to remind you, be sure to send your questions in, your comments on Facebook, whether it's the Best Damn Eagles group or whoever you are watching. Send your questions, your comments in. We'll read them on the air. We'll answer those questions as we go. There is a trend now. The Eagles, 5 of their 6 games this year, they are trailing by 10 or more points. And to Doug Peterson's credit, earlier this morning, he admitted that it might be time for them to not defer and instead take the ball to start the game, because he's got to get his offense going. You cannot put your team behind the 8 ball every single week. You're trailing by 10 or more. It's unacceptable.
Listen, it's not like the defense hadn't gotten stops on the first possession and given the ball to the offense. Okay, so now That's not the problem, okay? You can suggest that, and people suggest that to him this morning when he decided, well, you know what, maybe I'm thinking about maybe I should, you know, instead of deferring, taking the ball so we get the first possession, you know, go on some hurry up, you know, to put us in a different position. But I'll submit to you, if his first 15, and I talked about this on postgame last night, okay? I'd like to see what his first 15 look like. Is there any innovation in your first 15 from week to week to week? Or is your first 15 just a part of the normal game plan? Because teams have got 5 to 6 games now where they can break you down and they see what your tendencies are.
Yeah.
So by formation, when you take the field, if I'm a player and I've done my homework, I know what you run out of every formation. Your job is to trick me by running something else other than what you normally run out of that situation. So is your first 15, does it have anything innovative or creative in it from week to week? Are you keep breaking what you do from week to week? Or are you just taking the normal plays that you've been running and script them as the first 15, thinking that you're going to just go out and overpower a defense? So it doesn't matter.
So you want to talk about innovation and execution or lack thereof. Are we going to talk about the fake field goal, terrible taking points off the board with Jake Elliott? Because here it is, you're trying to run something that's innovative, but the execution is piss poor, and you could clearly see that they clearly went into a field goal safe. They weren't going to allow you to make that play, and you put them in a position where you take points off the board, which can get you a little bit closer. You come out, you actually look pretty decent. They had gotten the game, they fought back, they were down 3 touchdowns, fought back. You put 3 on the board there, it changes the whole complexion of the start of the second half.
Well, you know what's disappointing about that play is that, you know, listen, I cut my teeth in the NFL on special teams. I know that when you have a fake play call, there's a built-in check that cancels that play. Okay, so it seems to me that they made and Doug talked about it in his in his interview this morning. He said, you know, we got the look on the 53,
on the first field,
on the 53 yarder.
Right.
You know, so Coach Fitt came to me. He was like, okay, let's go. So when you lined up and you saw that it was punt safe, you mean to tell me you didn't have a check? The holder is supposed to check that play and say, check, field goal safe. Let's go ahead and kick it. That's what's supposed to happen. So you're going to tell me that you didn't have that built in to that play? Every single fake play on special teams has a fail-safe built in, where if you don't get the exact look that you want, you check out of that play. You check out of it.
It's one of those plays where if it works out, you're a genius. We're all praising him. They get a touchdown there at the end of the half. Incredible call. It's like kicking an onside kick to start a half or to start a game.
Right.
It works out, we're praising him. It doesn't work out, he's got to take the blame for it. He took the blame for it. We all like that because, look, Doug Peterson's an honest guy. He's going to
take the blame for it because you know what he said?
He said we got the look. He said
I'd do it again.
He said I'd do it again.
Right. That's not
when they asked him after the game last week, he was like, I like the call and I do it again. Are you serious? You're serious. In that situation, you're going to do it again?
What he's talking about is the execution on the Vikings and saying that was a good play by the Vikings as opposed to a bad play by
So let me ask you the question. There's 20 seconds on the clock. What are you going to get out of it? You're talking about
one more shot at the end zone with a first set of downs.
You haven't had success pushing the ball downfield all day.
And that's an issue, okay? And we'll take some comments here from the Best Damn Eagles group on Facebook. Dom says, I agree, stop protecting Wentz. He needs to play better. But this is an interesting one from Infinite Lawrence. How can we say it's Carson's fault when receivers are dropping passes left and right? And that goes to your point, Seth. He's saying they haven't been successful pushing the ball down the field or pushing it to the end zone. Is it the receivers dropping it, or is it Wentz not giving them an opportunity to make a play?
It's real easy for fans to get caught up in what happened 2 games ago, 3 games ago, okay? The dropping issues haven't been an issue the last 2 weeks, okay? The issue is that Carson has been inaccurate. You know, how many times have you seen him throw the ball behind Zach Ertz and almost get him knocked out? How many
times in the end zone?
How many times have you seen him overthrow or underthrow Nelson Aguilar in the last couple of weeks? How many times did you see Alshon on the slant and the ball thrown too high yesterday on that 4th down play?
Or behind him at times so he's not running with the ball.
Come on, I mean, listen.
That's an issue.
I want the Eagles to do well, and I think that Carson Wentz can be an elite quarterback, but I don't analyze the game with rose-colored glasses on, man. Dude's got to play better. He's got to play better. His accuracy's got to get better, and his ability to measure the long ball has to be better. Because in the NFL, you can't call yourself elite. You're not a franchise quarterback when you got guys running scot-free down the field, and you can't hit them in stride. Even the Miles Sanders touchdown, Miles had to turn back and get the ball. Lead the guy, man.
Let me ask you this, Seth. Because 2.5 years ago, Carson could do no wrong. He was a darling in the NFL. He was an MVP candidate. He was lighting the league on fire. Everybody said he's going to be the Eagles' greatest quarterback ever. 2 years ago.
Winning is the greatest deodorant.
Agreed. Now all of a sudden he's missing throws. He's overthrown. He's holding the ball too long. It looks like it's the same offensive line for the most part, minus Jason Peters, who barely plays here and there. They seem like they have about the same or better weapons than what they had that year. What is the biggest difference in Carson Wentz then versus Carson Wentz now that you see?
I think they're completely out of whack right now. You know, it's my opinion that not having those guys play during preseason was a massive mistake, okay? Because they haven't been in sync all season long. The only two guys, to me, that look like they've been in sync is Carson Wentz and Deshaun Jackson in week 1. Other than that, nobody looks like they're in sync. You know, every once in a while he'll make a good throw, you know, to Alshon, and Alshon will make, you know, some miraculous catch, but that's what he does. You know, you put that ball within 10 feet of him, he's going to catch it. He's built for that. You know, the rest of the guys, you better put it on them because they're not making spectacular catches. And my thing is, okay, you saw in training camp, what did he and Deshaun do? They spent a lot of time trying to get their timing down, throwing a lot of balls, okay?
Well,
so,
I think it's because you can't out-throw Deshaun either.
No, you can't.
And he can track a ball better than anybody else in football.
Yeah, but you don't ever see him underthrowing. You know, the problem is they worked on their timing and they got the rhythm and they got the measurement right. What you see with Nelson is that they resign themselves to the fact that Deshaun's going to be the deep guy. We don't need to work on the deep ball with Nelson. Hence, they have no rhythm, no connection as far as, you know, when you're throwing the ball down the field. He puts it outside, Nelson thinks it's inside, supposed to be inside.
Yeah.
He throws it, you know, inside, Nelson thinks it's supposed to be outside. He throws Nelson short. He throws Nelson long. They have no rhythm whatsoever, and I get it. The first couple of weeks, you know, he's dropping the ball like crazy. Carson didn't even target him but one time in 2 weeks.
Right.
So now, and I said then, you got to understand, Carson can ignore this guy if he wants to, but without Deshaun, they need him. They need him to show up, and they need him to show up big, okay? So you better stop ignoring him and put some extra time in after practice and work on your deep ball. Get your measurement right. Get your timing together.
Continue to send your comments in. I want to say, continue to send your comments in. We will get to them as we go on throughout the show. And remind you to share the episode as well, because for every share, we're going to donate $1 to Big Brothers Big Sisters, like we do each and every month, pick a different charity. So continue to share and continue to send your comments and questions in on Facebook.
Meanwhile, you know who wasn't ignored? A guy who actually felt ignored coming into the game. Stephon Diggs had one good game against the Bears 2 weeks ago. And then, you know what? You know what the cure is when you're disgruntled as a player? Go play those Eagles corners, man. Listen, they make everybody look great. Carson, listen, Kirk Cousins said, I'm worth $84 million. I'm going to show you. He said, hey, Zach Brown, come on, give me some more bulletin board material.
That's the point.
Then claimed that he didn't know about it. You're not going to tell me Stephon Diggs didn't say, hit that long ball on him. Let's go light him up.
And
You're not telling me that.
This is what I want to bring up, because obviously the answer is going to be, we know they're professional athletes. They're out there to do their job and to win, and they're not paying attention to any of the outside noise because they're going out there trying to win.
Like they don't read the newspaper or watch TV.
But is there something to be said, Seth, about bulletin board material when you have a guy on the opposing team coming out and openly criticizing your quarterback, and then that quarterback shows up 333 yards, 22 of 29, 4 touchdown passes, and lights you up?
Did you guys hear what I said in pregame yesterday?
What'd you say?
I said there's no reason for it. I said there's no reason for him to make that comment. You just go out and you play. I said the only reason that, you know, a guy like that makes that comment is he's a dumbass. Plain and simple. I said it on air. He's a dumbass to make a comment like that. Because you don't have to do anything. You have to do anything but just say, you know what? Hey, you know, we want to shut down the running game. We want to put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hand and leave it there. Just leave it there. You don't need to throw any gas on the fire and make it bigger than it is. And obviously, you know, they took the high road. They didn't even talk about it after the game.
I respect that.
But what really pissed me off last night is all of a sudden Zach Brown didn't want to talk about it.
Any other questions besides
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, he knew it was coming. He knew it.
You wrote a check. Your ass couldn't cash, and you put everybody on your team in that tornado with you, you know, by saying what you said. Made no sense whatsoever. Made no sense, you know. And I'm telling you, man. And you know what? He put the bullseye on his own back because you know what? I'm watching him play. I'm like, okay, you wrote the check. Now you better show up and play. Yeah. Listen, garbage. Played like garbage yesterday. Yep. I mean, one-on-one tackles with people, he wasn't making the tackle, unblocked to the ball. Man, I've never seen so many linebackers that play in the game today with defensive scheme to allow those guys to run to the ball. I wish I could have ran scot-free to the ball without anybody blocking me. Nobody blocking you. You and the running back. All you got to do is go and run and knock his block off, and you can't get there? They need to put a muzzle on him for the rest of the year.
There is a bright side, guys. There is a bright side to all of this. The Eagles are in a position where they go into Dallas on Sunday night, they win a football game, and they're in first place. And that's it. Everything that happened to this point, you can put behind you if you take care of your business, you do your job on Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, if you're a frequent viewer to this show, you know, okay, we are presented to you by Kingsmark Cabinets. You met Tom last week. What a great job Tom did coming onto the show. A nice question that he had for Seth. We'll see if we can get Tom to come back and he can bust his chops with us here on set. But Kingsmark Cabinets is your go-to source for any home remodeling. You check them out, Kingsmark Cabinets, on all your social media platforms, or you can go to kingsmarkcabinets.com. And ET, there's going to be a lot that Seth's going to break down on the whiteboard here because there's still a lot more to break down from this Eagles loss. You know,
I think that this is probably the second or third time that I'm doing a defensive back breakdown because it's an issue. You know, one of the most important keys for a defensive back is his eyes, okay? If I've got this guy man-to-man, okay, my eyes are on him and him only. Now, let me show you the flaw that you see with the Eagles cornerbacks a lot of the time and why they get beat on double moves, okay? First of all, they're playing a lot of man from off, and they're turning and they're trying to get their eyes on the quarterback and play this guy man-to-man at the same time. It's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. Because if I got this guy man-to-man, I can't see two men. This right here is my focus. And I don't care whether he's running a go or whether he's running a post. I just want to be underneath him. And when he turns, again, when he turns and he looks for the ball, trust me, when the ball's in the air, that guy's eyes is going to be big as, they're going to be big as silver dollars. But the problem is they never get in position. So by position, what do I mean? Okay, if the receiver releases and run a post, okay, this right here is the window, the throwing window, okay? I can't be on top of him because the window's wide open now. I got to be inside this guy, so I want to jam him, make him release outside. When he runs the post, I want to be on his inside hip, and I want to be right up underneath him. Why? Because now the window is closed. There's nowhere to throw the ball. He's got to either throw it over the top, okay, or he's got to lead him so far out here that he can't really get to the ball. But that's one of the things that's plaguing the Eagles right now at cornerback. They're trying to see too much instead of just playing man-to-man coverage on the guy that they have. Secondly, even when they got a safety back here, guys got outside technique, okay? That invites a whole bunch of different types of routes, okay? He can slam right now. He can slant. He can run a bang 8, okay? And if the quarterback has got any kind of veteran about him, he's going to do what? He's going to look at this safety and freeze that safety, which allows this to happen. So what I don't understand is why we play so much outside technique and so much give these guys an opportunity. If he runs a slant, look at the window that's wide open and the defensive back is on his back. That's an automatic completion. It's automatic. okay? So now, the Eagles are struggling. What's the remedy? So I gave you all the examples of why they're struggling. What's the remedy, okay? Here's the wide receiver, okay? Get your corner up on the inside. Get him up on the inside. If he's a man-to-man coverage, he's got that guy. I don't want that guy looking at the quarterback. He doesn't need to see this. The only thing he needs to see is this receiver's eyes. If the eyes don't ever get big, then you know you've done your job. If the eyes get big, then you know that the ball is coming. Now, don't panic. Get yourself in good position to make a play on the ball. But get them up inside where they can jam this guy and force a release. Force a wide release. Now, all he's got to do is get in his back pocket. Just get in his back pocket and stay right underneath. Now, you can't tell me that our cornerbacks can't do this, okay? They play in the NFL. This is the coverage that you learn when you play Pop, when you first started playing Pop Warner. This coverage right here. And you're gonna tell me that we can't play like this right here across the board and bring some blitzes at Kirk Cousins and cause some confusion right here? Give him one read? I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. You can play bend don't break all you want, but until we start implementing this, and it's just sad to say, but, and yeah, I'm going to call him out today. Corey Underland, I don't see the development. I don't see any of this. I see our guys being put in a position not to succeed. And as long as they keep playing the technique that they've been playing it for the last 4 years. They're going to keep getting beat that way. And then the stress is going to be on the guys up front because they can't get pressure because the ball is coming out too quick. I mean, a lot of times yesterday they ran two-man routes. Two-man routes where they kept everybody in and max protect and sent two guys out. And they toasted us like, they burned us up like a burnt piece of toast yesterday. It makes no sense. We've got to change our techniques. We've got to work on the fundamentals of these cornerbacks because you know what? They're all we got. If there's anybody else out there worth the salt in their body, they be on a roster somewhere or they be in here. This is what we got. Until we get healthy, we're going to have to make the adjustment.
Seth broke it down on the whiteboard, ET, and sometimes you can have guys in the right position. You can do the right things, you can call the right plays, but if someone like Malcolm Jenkins makes a misread and jumps a route in front of him, that's how you get the Stephon Diggs big play. So sometimes it's making the wrong in-play read and also schematically not having your guys in the right spot.
And you listen to what Seth said earlier about the safeties being out of position. When you've got veteran safeties, guys that you're counting on to be the anchors to a weak secondary with weak corners, I understand Malcolm wanting to make a play. I get it. They don't have a whole lot of takeaways in that secondary. He's trying to get the ball back to the offense. But when you put a guy like a Rasul Douglas who doesn't have the closing speed to make up for a mistake or a misread where his eyes are on the quarterback instead of blanketing his man because he's already giving up a step or two speed-wise, now you're putting him in positions to fail. Malcolm has to be aware of that and say, you know what? I know I want to go ahead and try to jump this route, maybe get an interception, but is it worth it to leave Rasul Douglas one of the fastest wide receivers in football?
Well, his responsibility is also to provide that help over the top, which is what Rasul is expecting to see.
Yeah, but you know what I used to always say? I always understood when and where I had help over the top. But my deal was I would play, and I advise these guys to start to play the game in a way that even though you're supposed to get help, you play the play as though you're not getting any help, okay? Yeah. And if you get some help, great. But you can't, too many times I saw guys standing in the end zone looking with their hands up like this, where's my help? Just go play, man. Go play. That's the guy you're lined up on. Sometimes the help ain't gonna get there. That's not gonna stop me from wanting to stop my guy doing my job, and you're 100% correct. You can't take chances at safety when you got young guys on the corner, okay? Yeah, you can want to go jump a route and try to make a play, but you cannot do that. And I know exactly the play. Listen, they're in quarters coverage, okay? What Rasul should have done is he should have covered the vertical. He should have carried the vertical up the field. What they did is they gave him one vertical outside and they sent another guy up the middle. So even though you have two safeties, one responsible for 1/4 of the field, Rodney kind of stuttered, and he was going to pick up the corner. And what Malcolm has to do is he's got to understand the minute that I get a guy that goes to Rodney's going to jump it. I got to get high. I got to get high. I got to get on top of anything deep right now. Okay, and he got greedy. He wanted to play that was Rodney's play instead of getting on top and helping the young corner on the outside. That's the way that the coverage is designed to play. They have to overlap that way. But Rasul's he's got to start playing plays. Sidney, whoever's in there, guys have got to start to play plays as if they're on their own. And if the help comes, good. If it doesn't, do your job. Do your job. Don't be pointing the finger, looking around for somebody else to help you, and trying to push the blame off on somebody else. Because when you do that, that's what you're doing. When you're like this, hey, where's my help? Somebody was supposed to be over the top. You're trying to tell the viewing public, hey, you know what? Yeah, I got beat, but I was supposed to have help over the top. Man, that's BS. That's BS. Do your job and cover your man.
We're going to go around the NFL in just a minute, but Edward writes in on Twitter, will someone please calm Seth down?
No.
I don't want to see him have a medical issue on the show. Talk about something the Eagles did well. Let's put a smile on your face. Give us something that the Eagles actually did well yesterday against the Vikings.
That's a great answer. They didn't give up a special teams touchdown. There you go. That's all I got.
I mean, listen, what's his name again?
Edward.
Edward, you want me to be optimistic about what you witnessed yesterday, really? And there's nothing wrong with my health, man. I just went to the doctor. I got a clean bill of health.
Good to see. Good to see. All right, let's go around the NFL, guys. It was an interesting Sunday. Obviously, the New York Jets picked up their first victory, beating the Dallas Cowboys, so the Eagles will meet on Sunday. Boy, Sam Darnold makes a whole lot of difference in this offense. Was there something maybe to the Cowboys' preparation in this game, not having the film from this year on Sam Darnold, with the exception of the game against Buffalo in Week 1?
Hey, listen, man. Last Wednesday, I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd have a pocket full of money right now. Because last Wednesday, I said, this is my upset pick of the week. There's a couple of things, at play here. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they've enjoyed success over Dak's first 3 years without any major injuries. Mm-hmm. The Eagles have been enduring injuries ever since the year that we won the Super Bowl. The year that we won the Super Bowl, we had 5 starters instead of including our franchise quarterback out for the season, for a majority part of the season. The Dallas Cowboys are now starting to experience some of that. Left tackle out, right tackle out, number 1 receiver out. A couple of injuries on the defense, okay? It alters the way that you play the game. And don't tell me that those guys didn't go into New York feeling like, we already got this one in the bag, focusing on next week. Maybe they're looking ahead a week at this NFC East rivalry and big-time matchup on Sunday Night Football. And listen, the Jets took it to them. And I say all the time, even the worst teams in the NFL can win games. They got players that can play. They're elite level athletes. There's only 1,669 players, 96 players, I should say, in the entire league. That's the best of the best. Now, they can't do anything about coaching, team chemistry, youth versus talent. There's not. But if you're on a roster in the NFL, you can play football.
And I'm going to say this. You said any team can win unless you're the Miami Dolphins. That's one. Number 2, Sam Darnold makes all the difference in the world.
Of course.
We talked about, you and I, before the show, the 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. You know what Sam Darnold did great that Luke Falk didn't, and now Luke Falk is sitting on somebody's couch right now unemployed? That 1,000, 2, 1,000, quick reads, quick snaps. He got the ball out of his hands so fast yesterday. And I dare say this. If Sam Darnold plays last week, the Eagles might not win that game, because the reason that they got 10 sacks on Luke Falk, he held the ball too long. Darnold was getting the ball out of his hands so fast, the Cowboys pass rush didn't have a chance to get to him. And what does that do? That opens up the field. Robbie Anderson, 90-yard touchdown bomb.
Yep.
It gets guys like Le'Veon Bell in space because he's getting the ball out so fast, he's so accurate, he's making the reads. Here's the other thing I say about the Cowboys. You're 100% right. Injuries are now starting to happen. We're going to see what they do. I also think that Jason Garrett isn't the best in-game adjustment coach out there. I think he struggles with making adjustments. Yeah, they gave the ball to Zeke more after they lost Cooper. Yeah, they started throwing the ball to Gallup a little bit more, highlighting and featuring him. But the problem is when you realize that your guys are playing from behind because they're just getting walloped, you have to slow the game down. Again, you look at what works and what's been successful in the NFL. Even now, all those pass-happy offenses, the Chiefs, the Rams, they're struggling. Even the Patriots are struggling. You know what's winning games in football right now? Defense and running the ball.
Yep.
You said it 3 weeks ago. Defense and running the ball still works in football today, and teams don't do it.
All of these so-called football gurus that want to thrust us in, you know, the 21st and 22nd century of football with saying, oh, you know, passing is the new avenue to winning. Listen, I agree 100%, you know, but you still got to be able to set up what you want in the passing game with the running game, okay? And great defenses still will always dominate, okay? Because if you got a good pass rush and you can pressure a quarterback, that has a tremendous effect on that offense's ability to be productive in a lot of ways, you know? So I've had the debates. I had the debates with some of these gurus, some of these analytical gurus that say the numbers say. You know, I don't care what the numbers say. I think one of the amazing things, in watching the baseball game, I'm a huge Yankees fan. I love the Phillies, but I'm a Yankees fan because I grew up in New York. I was watching the game, and I felt like John Smoltz made such a great point about analytics. He was like, the analytics are an important part of the game. He was like, but great coaches find a way to balance the analytics and the human side of the game. You know, you can no longer just coach from just the human side, but you can't allow just the analytics to dominate how you coach in the game. You have to be able to take the information, disseminate the information, and make smart decisions. You know, and in the NFL, I think even though we're running 100 miles an hour towards analytics, I still believe, I'm still of the opinion that you have to take the information, use the information, but there's nothing like your gut feeling. There's nothing like being able to coach from your head, okay? Ask Pete Carroll. Ask Mike LaFleur, you know, when we went up there Thursday night and we intercepted that ball in the end zone. Yep. Those are situations right there where coaches allow the analytics to make decisions that cost them major.
Seth tried to set me off there with talking about the Yankees, but I'm going to calm down and knock it. I need to settle down as soon as you brought up that Yankee game last night. We're going to take a quick pause because we got to get to our bet breakdown. The Eagles and the Cowboys are our Kings Marquees to an Eagles victory and claiming first place in the NFC East right after this.
The new Parx Casino $10 million sportsbook changes everything. It's a whole new ballgame at Parx Casino. Watch every single game and sporting event you want on our custom-built 154-foot wide, $1.5 million screen, capable of showing 36 events at once. Bet all the hot action and enjoy tap after tap of amazing craft beer, cocktails, and pub food favorites. Your entire game day destination is here for you and your friends. Sportsbook, beer garden, and Liberty Bell Gastropub. Parx Casino, bet with the best.
So this week's betting line. So the betting line for this game, the over-under for the Eagles versus the Cowboys, huge game. It's in Dallas. It's 49 for total points scored between the two teams. I like this game to be a high-scoring affair. Last week I thought that the defenses would play. Apparently only one defense really showed up. I think that this is going to go over 49. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair on both sides of the ball because both teams have shown that their defenses have gaps and deficiencies. I say take the over. I think both teams are going to go high. They're going to both score for 25 points in this game. I definitely like that. You know, unfortunately, I think the Cowboys pull this off because I think Cooper plays. You get Cooper and Gallup together. It's a nightmare for the corners again. We know Cooper has been a killer of the Eagles. I just think they're going to put too many points up. Go for the over 49.
For me, I'm looking at the spread and I'm watching this, and if it gets to a field goal, which right now it's at 2.5, but if you can get the Eagles at +3, or even if you're a Cowboys fan, you get them at under a field goal, this is a field goal game. This game will be determined by whichever team has the football last, and I think that it's not going to be more than a field goal spread. So if you get the Eagles at anything close to 3 or even above, that's going to be the play for me in this game, or even the Cowboys at under a field goal, or if they can reverse tease or whatever. This is going to be a field goal game. Let's get to our Kings Marquees to a Eagles victory over the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll start, guys. For me, it comes down to starting early. Doug Peterson said he wouldn't be opposed to getting the ball instead of deferring, and also going up tempo to give his offense some sort of rhythm to start the game. I think the Eagles have to start fast, they have to score early, and they cannot get behind by double digits against this Cowboys team, because with Zeke Elliott in the backfield, you are not going to be able to come back from a double-digit deficit. E.T.?
So I think that my King's marquee to the game is, you know, the Cowboys are going to come out, they're going to want to run the ball. Zeke does well against the Eagles. But the key thing is, I don't care what you have to do. Do not let Amari Cooper beat you. They're going to throw to him. They're going to throw to him a lot. Do not let Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup have a coming out party on you. If you do that, you're going to get embarrassed, and it's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing in this town for another week. Don't let those wide receivers beat you.
You know, I said in the game yesterday and I posted on Twitter that, you know, after a bunch of those deep balls that Jim needed to go in 2 high safeties and just live with the front having to deal with the run. I feel the same way about this game. You can't put your guys in a situation where you're playing single high safety and, you know, the quarterback can pick whichever way he wants to go. But that being said, I also believe that the team who runs the ball most efficiently and who commits to running the football most is going to dominate and win this game. Conventional wisdom would say, yeah, you know, Zeke, because of who he is and his history against the Eagles are still ranked, even after yesterday giving up, I think, 120 on the ground yesterday. I still think they're ranked in the top 3 in run defense. One thing we can do is we can stop the run. And that's going to be key. The other key is, will Doug run the ball? Will he not abandon the run to be able to shorten the game? Because if we go over 10 possessions per team in this game, it's going to be tough for the Eagles to win this game. Got to keep it under 10, 8, 9 max. You know, is what you have to have. And whoever can run the ball most efficiently and whoever can dominate the time of possession, that is going to be the team, in my opinion, is going to come out and win this game.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching us right here on the My New Philly Facebook page. Hit 'em High, coming to you live every Monday from Parks Casino. From all of us here at My New Philly, thank you for watching, and make sure you tune in right here at My New Philly, where something's always new
and everything's always Philly.